So, what is the big deal behind this recent Ferdinand Waititu, the former Kiambu governor? What is the big deal about his recent remarks? That he was offered by Ruto to be his running mate, as well as two other gentlemen, Francis Kimemia and Kiraitu Murungi. What is the big deal there? Actually, some people believe there's no big deal. In fact, to be honest, if I can confess, I too believe there's no big deal. Fortunately, I took a second look at it. And the truth is, there is a very, very big deal here. First of all, it opens our eyes to some things that are happening now behind the scenes. And also it informs us very clearly what really happened leading up to the disaster at Bomas on August 2022. And if you're like me, I don't like mysteries. I do everything in my power to try and solve mysteries. If you're like me, you're going to totally enjoy this very eye-opening show that I've put together for you today. Now, the best way to grasp and understand what really went down here and its great significance to anybody who wants to understand Kenyan politics, we must start this story at the beginning. In the run-up to the 2017 general elections. Now, those who have memories that are close to that of an elephant will remember that in the run-up to those elections, we had two major controversies over Jubilee candidates, specifically in Kiambu County and in Nairobi County. And those two controversial candidates were a man called Mike Sonko in Nairobi County and Ferdinand Waititu in Kiambu County. Powerful forces within the Jubilee High Command did not want those two gentlemen anywhere near a gubernatorial seat. And the argument was that both Ferdinand Waititu and Mike Sonko were not intellectually capable of being governors. And to emphasize how serious the Jubilee High Command were, David Murathe, very close to President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the president then, traveled all the way to Canada to fetch a man called Peter Kenneth to be the next governor of Nairobi County. Maybe even some of you will remember that Murathe was interviewed by the press. Yeah, and he told them, how can you have a man like Sonko as governor of Nairobi? How would he receive, for instance, the President of the United States of America? Say he landed at the airport tomorrow. How would he receive that dignitary at the airport? Because Mambo Ukopoa would not work with such a dignitary. That was his point. Well, we know what happened in the end. Both Waititu and Sonko became governors of their respective counties. But today, we will know how that happened. And it's quite a story. The man in charge of the Jubilee campaign, the man in charge of President Uhuru Kenyatta's re-election bid, was a man who had been brought out from the cold because he had already fallen out with the president then, to run those elections on behalf of Jubilee and the president. And the name of that man is William Samoei Ruto. And the entire 2017 presidential election and general election and the rigging thereof was all about Ruto's bid for the presidency 5 years later in 2022. And Ruto saved Sonko. And Ruto saved Waititu. I'm yet to find out how he convinced the Jubilee High Command, although we know he was in a powerful position as the person heading that campaign and making all the decisions and all the moves. And so Sonko and Waititu had a debt to pay Ruto, a political debt, a very huge political debt. And now with that information, you will understand very clearly why what happened next happened. Yeah, because Ruto managed to pull the rug from under Uhuru's leg and entered the Mount Kenya region with a vengeance. Won support in the Mount Kenya region and even won a lot of support from Sonko's massive support base. You see, Ruto was making calculations then for his bid for the presidency. And both Waititu and Sonko were wildly popular with the masses. Which budding presidential candidate would not want these two gentlemen on their side? And issues like their abilities to be governors were very irrelevant in this particular case. Well, in retrospect, we can say with great confidence that Ferdinand Waititu played a very, very major role in popularizing Ruto in the Mount Kenya region and especially in Kiambu. And we can say that Sonko did the same for Ruto in Nairobi County and well beyond. And so by the time Ruto was calling in Waititu, Francis Kimemia and Kiraitu Murungi and promising them that amongst the three, one of them would definitely be his running mate, Waititu must have already been walking in the clouds, not knowing that this was a cruel political chess move by Ruto. You see, both Kimemia and Kiraitu Murungi are very polished Kenyans in comparison to Ferdinand Waititu. And therefore those two gentlemen must have known in their knowing that Waititu was out and that one of them would be Ruto's running mate. It is quite unlikely that they would have guessed that they too were being played. You see, what Ruto was doing here was using Moi tactics, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi tactics. To gain support and loyalty, Moi used to promise many people the same thing. And this is what came to a head and caused problems in the year 2002 when Moi was leaving power. Because, according to my information, Raila Odinga had been promised that he was going to be named successor to Moi. Kalonzo Musyoka had been promised. George Saitoti had been promised. And many, many others. But there was something even more significant that Waititu revealed during this interview with Kameme, where he spilled the beans and told us what happened. And that is the fact that Ruto was looking for puppets then and has always been looking for puppets. Independent thinkers are not what he was looking for or what he's been looking for. Waititu put it this way in Kikuyu. He said that he knew the three of them were rejected because they were all kichwa ngumu, hard-headed, stubborn. In other words, these were people who would think independently, even after receiving instructions from Ruto, which Ruto does not want, has never wanted. And that is why it should be as clear as day why Rigathi Gachagua ended up as Ruto's running mate. He was preferred even to Kithure Kindiki, the current CS internal. Waititu told us that Ruto is always looking for new people, not established politicians, which makes perfect sense. You want people who owe their position to you. You want people who are nothing without you. And now with this information, we also know something else. We know why Ruto was so mad, so annoyed when the handshake happened. You see, the handshake completely upset his careful calculations towards getting the presidency in 2022. Indeed, the handshake, we can now say in retrospect, was a great setback to Ruto's 2022 presidential ambitions. But there is an even bigger revelation which has to do with two gentlemen very closely linked to this drama. Yeah. And the two gentlemen are Evans Kidero, who was outgoing governor in 2017 in Nairobi County, and William Kabogo, who was outgoing governor in Kiambu in that same year, 2017. And we'll come to that bombshell revelation in a minute. You know, politics is all about survival. But then most of us also forget that life also is all about survival. Because many unexpected things we didn't predict, will tend to happen in this life. And you suddenly find yourself in a position where you must survive. And yet yesterday you are comfortable. And then we also all pass through that period in our lives when we are down and out, and we need to pull ourselves up, recover. There are great tips, ideas, and even case studies of how to precisely achieve this in my docu-series, How to Survive or Even Prosper in a Dead Economy. You see, whether you have an established business or you are just starting out, getting customers, promotions, advertising are key to the success of your business. However, when things are the way they are today in Kenya, when the economy is in ICU on its deathbed, advertising and promotions become much less effective than they've been before. And to survive, you'll need to find another way to get your customers. And one of the ingenious ways of getting new customers in a dead economy is by doing something called sampling. In my eye-opening, amazing docu-series, How to Survive or Even Prosper in a Dead Economy, there are many examples, real-life examples that I've given of people who are stuck. Promotions and advertising could not work for them, and therefore they opted for something much less costly but much more effective: sampling. A solar company went to a neighborhood of farmers who had just been paid for coffee and installed their solar in houses which didn't have electricity for free. How did they do that? That is a crazy thing to do. Now just hold your horses. The deal was, we have installed this in your house. We're going to leave it here for a week for you to enjoy. At the end of the week, if you want to keep it, all you have to do is make some payment. If not, there's no problem. We'll come and uninstall our solar equipment. Now that may sound like some very hard work for you, but the truth is, this idea saved a company from bankruptcy. Because out of every 3 free installations, they got 1 person to pay. That is a 33% response, which is very high by any standards in life. And this company actually ended up making a fortune by using this very simple strategy. There are many other brilliant ideas that you'll need to get through what is already here and what is coming. You can see details on your screens right now. Out of every order I get, I will sponsor one other Kenyan. And those of you who want the blessing of sponsoring others who are less fortunate than yourselves, out of every 1 person you sponsor, I will sponsor 2. Because this is very close to my heart. I know what is coming. It's not good. And I'm very determined to play my role by doing everything in my power to make things better for our dear long-suffering Kenyans. And so I urge you to make that decision today, to prepare for what is coming, to ensure you survive, no matter how good or bad things are right now. Now, many Kenyans don't know this, but in 2013, 2013, Evans Kidero, governor of Nairobi, was a Jubilee Ruto candidate. Yes, he vied on an ODM ticket. Yes, he ended up winning, but he was a Ruto man. In fact, there are those who tell me he didn't actually win. There was some duly elected Marenos. And those who can remember will remember Kidero as a very pro-Jubilee governor during his tenure from 2013 to 2017. And guess who was Kidero's main challenger in the 2013 gubernatorial race for Nairobi? It was Ferdinand Waititu. And so it is said that in 2017, Kidero decided to defend his seat as governor of Nairobi. William Kabogo also decided to defend his seat as governor of Kiambu. Now both of them understood the stiff competition they were facing. However, both of them were promised, you will win. Just the way Waititu, Francis Kimemia, and Kiraitu Murungi were promised, one of you will be Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Same deal. Now this is a very important point so that we fully grasp what is currently going on. And so that we answer the question, Ferdinand Waititu, who has always been so close to Ruto, what has happened now that is starting to spill the beans on Ruto? Is starting to tell us inside secret things that happened behind the scenes. Is starting to go public on how Ruto operates and his weaknesses, etc., etc. What is going on? I will use only one English word to explain precisely what is going on. Constant, repetitive betrayal. You promise me something today, you don't deliver. You promise me something tomorrow, you don't deliver. Surely one day I'll wake up and say, no, I'm being taken for a fool. And then I will seek to get back at you. This is exactly what is happening a lot within UDA and the Kenya Kwanza ruling coalition. Watu wameanza kuropokwa. And so for all intents and purposes, we should brace ourselves for even bigger and bigger shell-shocking revelations in the days, weeks and months to come. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.